The biggest product announcement in a generation will happen next month. Those are the words of Fanatics Collectibles CEO. What is he talking about? And what do we hope the announcement will be? We'll tell you next on Cards on the Table. Hello, sports card investors, and welcome to another episode of Cards on the Table, our fast-paced talk show every Thursday where we explore topics around the world of sports cards. Wow, including a big quote today. This is a big episode. Joining me for it, as always, Teapot, sir. It's good to see you again.
Hello, welcome back.
Thank you. Doug, I brought you a gift here.
Did you?
I got some Bowman Chrome football from our friends at Topps.
Oh, excellent.
See if you get a Kentucky player.
Actually, I'd rather get that superfractor of Caleb Williams so I can go after that bounty.
That's fine as well. Okay. Sell your own team out for the bounty.
Nice.
We'll rip these as we go here during the episode. See, hopefully I get one of my Florida Gators. Anthony Richardson would be nice. But let's get into the first topic today. I just got back from the Topps Industry Conference in Phoenix, Arizona. It was quite the conference. There was a lot of big news coming out of it. We're going to talk about some of that in the episode today. But the most prominent thing that was said, the thing that got everybody's attention, was on the first day in the morning, the first person to speak was the CEO of Fanatics Collectibles, Mike Mahan. And Mike Mahan got on stage and he said the biggest product announcement in a generation is going to be coming next month. He didn't tell us what it was. That's all he said. He kind of dropped the mic from there and then started talking about other stuff. What could it be? I have some ideas as to what it might be, but I'm curious what you guys think this could be, and what do we want it to be? What do we hope Fanatics announces next month that could completely change the trading card game?
All right, so it's a pretty big statement, right? The biggest announcement in a generation, or the biggest innovation in a generation. I guess my question would be, what's the bar set at? Like, what was the last big change or big announcement or big innovation?
It was Fanatics acquiring the licenses. Was
Sure,
the last
I mean,
big thing.
that's probably it. So is that the bar? That's what they've got to beat? Like, besides that announcement, I feel like the bar's probably fairly low. So I feel like they could accomplish the task of having this generational announcement, but also leave people potentially maybe a little disappointed with all the hype that they're building around it. That said, I mean, obviously I have no idea what this is. Maybe it really is worth all of the hype. In regards to what I hope it could be, I mean, there's a laundry list. We've talked a lot about the different things we hope to see Fanatics do in the future. You know, I don't want to rehash every one of those bullet by bullet, but I think, you know, you put together some pieces, you did some sleuthing. So I'm really interested to hear what your take is on it, and, you know, Teapot probably has some well thought out ideas as well.
Well, so I guess one thing you could think, and I don't think it is this, but one thing you could think is maybe it's the acquisition of Panini, the acquisition of Panini's product lines, because you just said, like, the last major announcement like this was them getting the licenses. So them getting the Prism line and all that kind of stuff, you know, flawless national treasures.
Yeah.
That would be huge. But I don't think it's that, actually. So my prediction, reading between the lines with everything else that was said during the conference, there was a lot of conversation about redemptions. And there was a lot of conversation about how Fanatics wants to reduce and eventually eliminate redemptions. It is a major, major priority. And they talked about how they want to put incredible chase items in cards, lots of memorabilia, game-used memorabilia. So where my mind went with this is, are they going to acquire some super collection of, like, just some of the greatest memorabilia of all time and start putting that into cards?
And just start hacking it up?
And just, yeah. Like, I mean, is it like, do they have like all these game-used jerseys they're going to acquire, or bats and what? Yeah, and start putting it into cards.
bat collection.
Maybe that's
into
it.
The wood chipper.
Or maybe there's some other, maybe they're acquiring a company that gives them access to just unbelievable historical artifacts and artifacts from current players. That's kind of where my mind has gone, because it would tie into the theme of their confidence that they're going to reduce and eliminate redemptions, because one way you can eliminate redemptions is if you already own all this stuff. Then you can be sure that it's going to go into a card, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. What are your thoughts, Teapot?
All right, so I've been spitballing on this a little bit. I don't know that any of these would be the biggest thing in a generation. That's where I was getting stuck, but just spitballing. You mentioned the acquisition of Panini. Don't think it's that. they've talked about making print runs known on all cards. I don't think it's that. That wouldn't be the biggest announcement of a generation.
By the way, that would be great.
But
Please
I'd
do
like to
that,
see that.
Fanatics. But
Print
not,
runs,
not that
pack
big of
outs.
an announcement.
Right. Having an accessible image database.
Yeah.
When a new product comes out, you can literally look up and see what every card in the product looks like would be really awesome, right?
This is your list of I
would love to see this.
Okay.
I would love to see this. Yeah, but it would be great. So
it would be.
we get the product releases now, and you just get a little teaser, right, to be able to see all of those. This is what you kind of touched on, related bigger athlete partnerships and more collector perks. That big league product, the ability to have a VIP access day with Ronald Acuna Jr. or something would be really cool.
Experiences.
Maybe getting rid of player worn and only having game worn stuff. Like, it's got to be real or it's not in there. The two big things that maybe this could be, something related, digital NFT provenance of cards. Like, all cards or all parallels now have true digital NFT pairability. And the other thing is maybe a sports and trading card all access 24/7 content channel, a cable network, something like a segment on ESPN, something that's really going to get this big marketing push that we know they're doing, the first piece of it going public.
That's interesting. I hadn't thought of that angle. That's an interesting angle. I don't think it's the NFT thing because they actually they divested. Fanatics divested from Candy Digital, and they seem very focused on the physical. Yeah. But that's interesting. The content side of it's interesting because they did spend a lot of time talking about content. Yeah. They spent a lot of time talking about marketing, how important that is, athlete integrations, everything like that. Is that the biggest announcement of a generation? I don't know. Maybe it is. I mean, maybe if there's a sports card show on ESPN, the amount of attention and publicity that could bring to help grow this, maybe that turns into a seminal moment for the sports card industry. I don't know.
It's the way they'd get to 10x, right?
They want a 10x. They want a 10x, and that could be one way they'd go down that path of getting to 10x. What do you guys think? Let us know your predictions in the comments below. I want to come and read these comments here in a few weeks when this announcement comes out, and I want to see who got it right. And if you got it right, maybe we'll have some sort of prize for you or something. So let us know what your prediction is as to what this announcement of a generation is that Mike Mahan was talking about. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and we'll see who's right when that comes out. All right, guys, we got a lot more to talk about. But first, guys, I've got breaking news. Ooh. Kyle Trask is going to be the starting quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this fall.
I don't think that's been announced. I think he's the only guy on the roster.
Well, yeah. I think he's going to be. So
sign Aaron Rodgers.
In this week's Pristine Auction, which, of course, as every week, wonderful trading card auction on pristineauction.com. I just bid on a Kyle Trask 1-of-1 Obsidian card, little Nike swoosh in there. That is my Pristine Auction target card of the week. How about yours, Teapot?
I've got a PSA 10 Pop 410 1996 Kobe Bryant Stadium Club members only. I love Stadium Club. Members only. Yes. Lower pop. Very cool card.
Doug?
I'm looking at a 1984 Rothman football complete set. Football stars. It's got Pele, Maradona, Beckenbauer, a bunch of guys like that. And I've got, while soccer is my primary collection right now, I have nothing ultra modern. So I've got to get some older stuff, and it's a great way to get a bunch at once.
All right, there you go. And you can bid on these items plus thousands more at pristineauction.com. Use promo code SCI. When you register, you get $10 off your first order on pristineauction.com. Let's get into the data dive, Teapot. So you did a video this last weekend for the Market Movers YouTube channel, 15 baseball cards that could explode in value, guys who have maybe been forgotten about, guys who have maybe been ignored. Give us a little snapshot of these, and then Doug and I are going to tell you what the actual baseball cards that are going to explode in value this season are going to be.
Okay, good. So what I tried to do was look at guys who aren't known commodities. Like, you got the big names. I went a layer deeper, right? Players who are really good, who just don't quite get the notoriety, but if they really go on an MVP run like Paul Goldschmidt did last year, they could see their player values rise. So I did, some veterans, I did some more recent guys, and then some prospects. I've got those 15 players here, and you can see on their price movements, all of them over the last 365 down, most notably Wander Franco. A year ago, man, it was Wander mania. That's part of the reason his prices are down so much. They just came out so strong, but he really didn't play. And when he did, he didn't play well. A lot of people are very high on him. He has a ton of cards. But, in general, I tried to just look at guys who are bounce back candidates. A guy like Vlad Guerrero Jr. 2 years ago, obviously, runner-up for MVP. Last year, like a 5 or 6 WAR, very good season, improved his defense drastically, but kind of got lost in the shuffle because he wasn't like at that top tier. So that's kind of guys I tried to target.
Yeah, no, I think those are all definitely interesting ones to be looking at. Now is the time to be looking at these guys because, of course, we got spring training going on. And if these guys get hot, even in spring training, but especially once the season kicks off here, not too long from now, you're going to see their prices start to go up. Doug, is there anyone on this list or any other guys who are standing out to you?
I have no idea. I don't pay attention to baseball at all. You guys know that. But when I watched the Data Dive episode, you can kind of extrapolate more than just baseball from that. When you talk about you're looking at is now the time to prospect or is it go after vets, I think about that in other markets. When I look at going after football or basketball, for instance, it's a lot different than baseball to me because you're not exploring the minor leagues when you're prospecting. You're exploring college. We're going after stuff like you're looking at guys in college. And then you're looking at what conference do they play in? What kind of competition do they have? Are they surrounded by talent? Things of that nature. And they're so different when you look at these different sports. So you really have to, that's why I can't look at these baseball players and give you a good opinion because it's so different from what I'm used to doing. Same thing with basketball. These guys can have, individual success, but the team component is really going to kind of hold them back. One of the things I think you can parallel between the markets that I play in baseball is hype versus productivity. Because there's always going to be the guys that are overhyped compared to what they're actually doing, and those are guys that are always red flags to me that people stay away from, like a Jason Dominguez, for instance. Things of that nature I'll probably look at. And when you talk about veterans compared to prospecting, I think it's really hard to find veterans that have explosive potential because it's hard for a veteran to do anything that's going to make their value explode. We can look at one-off spectacular performances like Dame or Luka have had this year. We can look at guys that have individual award potential, be that MVP or even team award potential like winning a title. Then you've got to look at guys that could have career award potential like Hall of Famers. So there's a lot of different things that you can look at that probably parallel a bit to baseball, but when you're looking at vets, I don't think the explosive potential is there nearly as much as prospecting, and you just have to know what you're doing regardless of the sport.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm expecting big things from Ohtani. Now, these are bigger names than you have on your list, but, Ohtani, I think, could have another wonderful year this year, maybe another MVP award. I'm excited about Tatis coming off his suspension and Soto having a better year this year. I think the Padres are going to be stout. I think it's going to be exciting to watch them.
Yeah.
I want to see if Ronald Acuna Jr. can return to his 2019 form when he was going for the 40-40, right? And didn't quite get there, but can we see that Acuna? It's going to be interesting. You got different rules in play this year, and base stealing may become a little bit easier and different things. So how that could affect what players get hot could be really interesting to watch.
Yep.
Awesome, guys. We're going to take a quick break and be right back. With baseball season right around the corner, Market Movers is the ultimate way to track what's going on in the baseball card market and track your collection, and you can get it free for 7 days. Just go to sportscardinvestor.com, click Market Movers in the main menu bar. Guys, we just ripped these during the break.
Very nice.
Look at this. Kayshawn Booty, gold auto, number to 75.
Very
little
nice.
LSU boy there, little
Color
SEC boy.
Not bad.
Color match, color match.
Yellow,
That's
gold, yeah.
That's pretty sweet. Yellow. It's got a little
yellow.
striping to it. I mean, you're right. That's nice. Number to 75.
This is a really nice product.
It's a good product.
It's really good. I got this Dylan Gabriel Invicta.
Topps did a good job
cool.
with Bowman Chrome U football. So appreciate Topps for that. That's awesome. Speaking of Topps, guys, let's talk a little more about that Topps conference that I just got back from, because we talked about the big announcement from Mike Mahan, but there's a lot more news that came out of the conference. They introduced us to frozen fractors and retro fractors. I know you get some thoughts on these, and we learned about these, moments that they're going to put in cards. We learned about all the people they're hiring, unbelievable numbers of people, customer service, they're making improvements there. Just a lot of different things. Star Wars, heavy investment into Star Wars cards, tons of marketing, athlete interaction. So much news came out of it, Teapot. Where do you start on that front?
Well, first of all, I'll say this is the most rejuvenated I feel like I've seen you come back from one of these industry summit, conferences. It was like constantly texting us like cool things coming, and following that was a lot of fun. Kind of hitting on some of those things that we posted, the Topps Big League stuff, like some of these moments, engaging, giving you other chases, like really cool experiences. I think that's such a cool idea for sports, especially for young kids too. I don't know what a frozen fractor is. I don't know how a card can be negatively serial numbered. I'm going to hold my breath on that one and just wait and see before I pass judgment. Retrofractors, I guess I'm confused. I've actually been looking for a Pujols retrofractor.
Right.
I don't quite know why they call it a retrofractor, but I guess they're going to do something creative with that
It's
line.
going to be first Bowman cards of historical players
historical
like Babe
players.
Ruth,
Yeah.
Jackie Robinson, guys like that. They're going to get a first Bowman card. They
The
didn't
Topps
have a first
52
Bowman card.
cards are very popular,
Yeah.
like the old design, so maybe that'll be a hit. Eliminating redemptions we talked about. I do like the moments that matter.
Yeah.
With the cut-up bases of a first hit or something, that's a very cool idea.
And when they get a football and basketball, like the first net that a player
Yes.
scored a point on.
Yeah.
If you think about that, like, can you
cool.
imagine
That's a big
today if there were cards that had the very first net
No.
from Jordan's first game?
Yeah.
Like, those things would be, they'd be big chase
It's
cards.
really cool. And then I think the big thing that I saw, it stood out to me a lot, was the elimination of various product lines.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
as I survey the landscape of Topps and also Panini for sure, there are several products like that I say, like Panini Origins or Topps Inception, which it wasn't on the list, but I see these and I go, I like this. I don't really like it as its own standalone product. Get rid of some of the subpar inserts in flagship and put in these ones, and I think it would be a much cooler product offering. So that's what I'm hoping with Topps Gallery, which they're getting rid of, with Gold Label,
Yeah.
with some of these others. I hope they'll still pay homage to those by maybe inserting them into other products, because I do think they have a place and they have a long-standing history. It'd be really cool to keep those going.
Well, all of what he said, for the most part, I agree with. There's a lot of things that are exciting about that. I'll offer a little bit of a devil's advocate position on one thing, and that's some of the hires that I've heard about. Now, they're hiring a ton of industry leaders, and it's pretty impressive, some of the people they're getting in from some of the companies they're getting them from. One concern I might have is that there's not anybody really hobby related.
Yeah,
And from
there's
what I'm
not.
understanding, maybe not a lot of collectors either.
There's not.
So if there's a
Yeah.
big enough disconnect between these guys, as successful as they are, and the people they're trying to serve, the collector base they're trying to serve, I think issues could arise from that. I feel like cards, there's a lot of institutional knowledge that comes with the hobby, and you can't just cram that all into a quick study session. And it can take a while to learn all that stuff, and that there might be some concern there.
That's fair. So if you guys want to hear my opinion about that and everything he talked about, go look for the Jeff Wilson Show. It's my brand new podcast. It's available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and also on YouTube here in full-length video. It's another channel. It's called the Jeff Wilson Show. So search for that wherever you get your podcast or on YouTube. And I just dropped an episode today where I talk for about 45 minutes about all of my thoughts on all this Fanatics and Topps news. So go check that out. One more topic I want to talk about today. This was suggested by one of the viewers in the YouTube comments after our last episode. They want to know, what are our thoughts on the soccer market right now? In general, Doug, I've been bullish. I know you've been bullish on the soccer market generally for the last couple of years, and it's seen a lot of growth, but it's also seen some valleys as well, and maybe not quite as much traction around the World Cup as we were hoping, and we've talked about that in previous episodes. The World Cup is behind us now. Where do you think we are today with the soccer market?
So definitely I'm bullish on it. And what you said is the key, right? We've talked about it before, but I think so many people that weren't collecting soccer were looking for a boom around World Cup. Those of us that were collecting soccer weren't ever looking for that. And there's two big reasons, right? So one thing is card collecting, sports card collecting is really only a thing in the US. It's not really that big outside of the US currently. There's pockets, but it's not that big. And that's one thing that has to change if you want to see the soccer card market explode. We have to get other areas involved outside of the US in card collecting. And I think Fanatics has talked a little bit about that at the conference. So I'm optimistic that that's going in the right direction. And as far as getting the US market more interested in soccer, I don't know that any one event is just going to make everybody care all of a sudden. If there is one, it's going to be the next World Cup that's here in the U.S. when our team is in their prime, hopefully. So, that's probably more of a focus if you're just looking for one sole event. But it's going to be a gradual buildup. I don't think you can just snap your fingers, have a big event like a World Cup, and then everybody cares suddenly.
Yeah.
It just takes time.
Yeah, they had a representative at the conference from Bundesliga and talked about developing out the soccer card market in Germany, which there's still very small. The soccer card market in Germany is still very small, but they're working on it. They're trying to encourage German breakers and German streamers and really kind of make a push to grow soccer cards in Germany by doing those things. Your thoughts on the soccer card market?
I'm still bullish on it. I still think it has the most potential to explode of any sport. Why? Because I think the other ones where they are most popular are already saturated with collectors. Even in spite of Fanatics saying they want to 10x things, I think that's going to be holistically across a lot of different collector groups. There's some key things that need to happen. One, U.S. soccer needs to be good. U.S. men's soccer needs to be good. They need to be really good, and that'll generate buzz and get people interested. Two, if somehow we could actually get games being played in U.S. time zones somehow for some of these big leagues to where people could watch it and you don't have to get up on Sunday morning at 6 a.m. to watch this, your favorite team play, that would help a lot. And then I think, like Doug said, the cards just need to become more popular globally, for soccer cards. Soccer fans are as intense and diehard as any sports fan, probably the most intense of any sport. If you can take that intensity and channel it into being really passionate player collectors, team collectors, club collectors, whatever, then everything could surely blow up. And I think starting to market some of those specific league products over where they are locally played could be a first step in that.
Those are good points. It's going to be exciting to see the future. Guys, what questions do you want us to answer in our next episode? Please leave those right now in the YouTube comments. Give this episode a like, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and go check out Market Movers. Go to sportscardinvestor.com, click on Market Movers in the main menu bar. We appreciate you, and we'll see you with our next episode soon. Take care.